Hi, welcome to Spectral Evidence. Tonight we have Ian Murphy from the Paranormal Research Association of Boston here with us tonight. Glad you could be here.
Glad I could be here, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yep. Now, you have an interesting background on this because you started over in Ireland.
I did. Back in 2004, we started the Paranormal Research Association of Ireland. We found that there was a niche in the paranormal groups. A lot of groups were using mediums, spiritualists, and all that sort of stuff. So there's very few pure science groups out there. So I decided to try to start one of those up. And the PRAI has grown and grown from 3 members at the start, including myself, to now up to 10 members. And over the years, we've had, I think, 1,200 applicants to be part of the team, and we've selected 10. So it kind of tells you the rigorous testing we've gone through. We've gone through different testing phases as well. Back in 2006, we came up with the idea of a full testing system where people would go on an investigation, have a written psychological test, and then a final interview with the team so they could get on with us. And then obviously they go through trainee status, but they have 6 to 12 months probation before they're brought into the core team. So all the members that are core team in PRAI are pretty much the best of the best. And all the ones that didn't, well, they didn't make it, unfortunately. The team has been very successful over there. It's one of the most well-known teams in Ireland, and we've helped a lot of people. And that's the most important thing, because at the end of the day, it's about helping people.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're 100% science-based.
Yes.
No mediums, no crystals,
no,
nothing.
Nothing like that. The reason that we've gone for the science base is science is verifiable, science is provable. Whereas people that are hearing voices, talking to ghosts, I'm not saying that they're not doing it. They are a completely different area that the PRAB could study in time. But it's not verifiable. It's just a feeling someone has, or a feeling that someone is talking to them. And you can't prove that. And if we can't prove it, then we really can't help.
So what got you involved with it? What made you want to form a group?
Well, I think the main thing that happened, it would have happened when I was about 19, so it's a long time ago, unfortunately. One of my friends believed that she had a ghost in her house. Now, obviously, I thought she was just crazy. I'd go over, humour her for a little bit, and then tell her, "You have no ghost, just go to sleep." So about midnight, there was just 2 of us in the house, no pets, no anything, just a normal family house in Ireland. And I heard this strange scratching in the bedroom. I didn't think anything of it, turned on the lights, looked around. Nothing had moved, so I thought, maybe I'm just hearing things. So I go back down to go to sleep, and I hear the scratching again. Now it goes on for about a minute and just stops. So at this point, I turn on the light and I look around. I notice a metal trash can has moved from one side of the room to the other. And that's what's piqued my interest in paranormal investigation. I would have loved to have my equipment and the knowledge I've brought up over the years then, but still unexplained. But it did stop since then.
Okay, tell us some...
Well, our first investigation was in Charleville Forest Castle, which is well known as being the 2nd most haunted castle in Europe. It's situated in Offaly, in the town of Tullamore, which is where Tullamore Dew comes from. I'm sure most people are familiar with that. It's a 16th century Gothic revival castle, very nice, and it's quite dilapidated at this time. We started investigating there probably back in 2004, 2005. And it's now become our base of operations and still remains the base for the PRAI, where we do, as I told you, about the investigations with public members, and we bring them onto the team that way. It's very, very interesting, great history, great atmosphere there as well. I love the staff and the people that own there. But we've had a couple of different experiences down there. I think the biggest experience I've had would have been at about 2 a.m. in the basement, which used to be used as a dungeon, and this would have been back in 2007. We were all sitting around the table, and there was a medium there that the castle was friends with, so she really wanted to be on the investigation, so we brought her along. And I had this really, really strange feeling on my chest. Couldn't breathe, couldn't catch my breath. I started to dry retch, and then my face felt like it was, if you leave soap on for too long, it starts to get that really sticky feeling, horrible feeling. And the medium told me that my face was changing. Now, I don't know if she picked up in the low light that I was having these symptoms, and she just decided to capitalize on it and say something. But it was all very coincidental. Looking back on it, it was more likely just a reaction to being in a dungeon at night and thinking that something would happen. But it was a very interesting personal experience. Just a horrible feeling all around. We've also had experiences where we've seen and heard things. Usually, of course, when the equipment's turned off. That's when we always see and hear things. And we can never grab the evidence for that. And we also had, as part of our testing, we used to put people in what we call the isolation room, which was just on the 3rd level off the nursery. And we'd tell them a story about things that would happen. This was part of the psychological testing to see if they were easily influenced by hearing stories about things. And we were told, oh, you'll see lights flashing on and off, you'll hear voices, that sort of stuff. Well, one of our first people we put in there ran out screaming because he'd been pushed against a wall. And that was a member of our team. So he'd been on the team for a year and a half, so he was relatively freaked out by it. But he was very believable. But we did still continue to put people in there as part of the psychological test.
So is that a common occurrence that people reported at that castle, being pushed against the wall, or?
Not in that area. Nothing had been recorded in that area. That's why we chose it. We just wanted to see if people would, start saying, "Oh, I'm seeing lights, I'm hearing voices," because we've told them that's what happens.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good little test.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We've gone all over Ireland to the length and breadth. The PRAI is actually now split up into 4 different locations just to cover more geographical area.
But so coming over to America, is it kind of boring over here doing it? Because we don't have castles really, and we don't have that ancient history.
The classic areas where paranormal will happen. No, not really, because I found that paranormal can happen anywhere. It can happen in a house, it can happen in a TV studio maybe, or it can happen in a castle. It's all down to what people are feeling. And it's also down to the construction of the areas, what's being used in the construction, and also the power in the areas, the electrical power. I'm not talking like, spirit power or anything like that, right. Physical electrical power, because obviously electromagnetic fields, radon, different gases, loads of different things can contribute to paranormal experiences, which are just natural-based occurrences. And that's why the PRAB goes for science. So we can try to detect these changes in the atmosphere and give people a peace of mind that this is what's happening, this is why. I think in about 98% of our cases, we've yet to find a reason behind something, but 98% we have.
So when you go into a new investigation, I know you have like a Geiger counter. How much testing do you do just to get your baseline for the area?
The baseline, every room is checked for temperature, electromagnetic fields, spikes in the EMF field, CO monitoring, radiation monitoring, temperature, relative humidity, sound, and a lot of pictures are taken as well, just so we know if something's being moved, we can watch it. And then when we're going on to the investigation itself, obviously we wire up the cameras. We have 8 cameras set up that goes through to our digital sharing system, and 4 are wireless and 4 are wired. And they're all zero lux night vision cameras. So we well cover our areas when we go there.